You know, it's funny how the most everyday things we barely notice, can tell these huge stories. Like, your oven seems simple, right? A box that gets hot. But what if I told you it's actually sitting at the center of this massive multi-billion-dollar global industry that's, well, changing really fast? There's this quiet revolution happening right there in your kitchen. Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all that noise and just give you the important stuff, the key knowledge you need. And today, yeah, we're looking at something maybe unexpected, the global electric single oven market. We're going deep into the numbers, the trends, and how this one appliance is becoming such a core part of modern life everywhere. Now, the insights we're sharing today, they come from this really comprehensive outlook by cognitive market research. We've boiled it down for you, our listeners, so you get the main takeaways, the important bits. So our mission today, pretty straightforward. We want to unpack what's driving the growth in this market. We need to see which regions are really, heating up the most and figure out what it all says about how our homes, our lifestyles are changing. Okay, let's unpack this. So to really get a handle on this, we kind of need to zoom out first. Look at the big picture,
Yeah.
because these global numbers, they really paint a picture of that quiet revolution I mentioned. It's not just a little bit of growth. Think about this. The global electric single oven market back in 2021 pulled in something like $13.5 billion.
13.5 billion. Yeah, that's already a huge number.
Right. And the forecast, by 2033, it's expected to shoot up to over $26.7 billion.
Wow, so almost doubling in about 12 years.
Exactly. It shows this really strong, steady growth path. We're talking a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of almost 6%, 5.8% actually, between 2025 and 2033.
What's fascinating here is it's not just, everyone suddenly deciding they need to bake more bread, although maybe that's part of it. But seriously, the growth is happening for some really specific connected reasons.
Okay, like what?
Well, take urbanization, more people moving to cities, right?
Yeah.
That directly fuels demand for these often more compact, multifunction electric single ovens. They just fit better in smaller city kitchens, apartments.
That makes sense. Space is always a premium.
Exactly. And that ties right into another big driver, the push for energy efficiency. People want appliances that fit their space and their energy bills, especially now.
Right, with energy costs being what they are.
Precisely. Plus, you have the appeal of just, well, better cooking, precision temperature control, convenience features.
So when we say precision cooking or smart functionalities, what does that actually mean for these ovens? What are people buying?
Good question. Energy efficiency might mean better insulation, faster preheating, maybe clever heat circulation so it uses less power overall. Precision cooking, that's your super accurate digital thermostats, maybe those built-in probes for meat, things like that. Getting it just right.
Okay.
And the smart stuff? Well, that's exploded. Wi-Fi connections so you can preheat from your phone, apps with recipes that set the oven automatically, even self-diagnosis if something goes wrong. It all connects to your smart home system.
So it's not just a gimmick, it's actually useful.
Increasingly, yes. It elevates the whole experience.
Okay.
And that's why these ovens are becoming, like the report says, a staple. Not just in homes, but in commercial kitchens too. And that's across the board, developed countries, developing economies, everyone's getting in on it.
Okay, so the global picture is clear, lots of growth, driven by tech, efficiency, city living. But let's break it down. Where is this demand the strongest? Any surprises in who's leading the charge? Let's carve up the map a bit. Starting with North America, it's still a powerhouse, right? Holding strong. Projected to hit over $8.4 billion by 2033. Growing steadily, about 5.5% a year.
Yep, a very solid market, huge volume.
But what I found interesting looking at the numbers is within North America. The U.S. market, it's massive, no question, $3.1 billion in 2021, heading towards $5.7 billion. But its growth rate, that CAGR, is actually a bit lower, around 5.2%. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Exactly. While the U.S. is the biggest slice of the pie, it's not growing the fastest within the region.
Right. Who is?
Well, look at Canada and Mexico. Their CAGRs are forecast to be over 6%. Canada at about 6.3%. Mexico even higher at nearly 6.5%.
So they're adopting these newer electric ovens at a faster clip.
It suggests that, yeah, could be several things.
Yeah.
Maybe the U.S. market is just more saturated already. Or maybe housing trends in Canada and Mexico favor new builds with these kinds of appliances more right now. It definitely shows some dynamic shifts happening within that big North American number.
That difference in growth rates, yeah, that really adds some important detail, doesn't it? Makes you wonder, are we seeing similar patterns elsewhere? Let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. Also seeing a pretty significant climb, right?
Absolutely. Europe's market is projected to reach almost 6.5 billion by 2033. The overall growth rate, that CAGR, is very similar to North America, actually, around 5.5%.
And the big players there, UK, Germany.
Yep, both showing really strong growth. Their markets are expected to more than double by 2033. The UK's CAGR is actually quite high, over 6.3%. Germany's close to 6%.
Okay. And France, Italy, Spain, also growing.
Definitely showing healthy expansion. France heading towards 800 million, Italy over half a billion by 2033. Spain's looking strong too. We also see solid numbers from places like Russia, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, even Luxembourg.
So broad growth across the continent.
Broad growth, yes. But maybe the most surprising nugget in the European data is the rest of Europe category.
Oh, what about it?
Well, that collective group of other European countries, it actually has the highest CAGR in Europe, over 7.2%.
Wow, really? Higher than the UK or Germany?
Yeah, it points to these pockets of really dynamic growth outside the usual suspects. It suggests that modernization trend, getting these newer appliances, is maybe accelerating faster in some of those other European nations. Really interesting.
That is fascinating. You don't always think about that rest of category leading the pack. Okay, let's swing over to Asia Pacific now. This region is clearly a major force.
A leading force for sure. The market there is forecast to hit nearly $5.8 billion by 2033. And the CAGR is solid too, over 5.6%.
And who's driving that? China, I assume.
China's definitely a huge part of it. Its market was over $1 billion back in 2021 and is projected to pass $2 billion by 2033. Japan is also very significant, expected to cross the billion-dollar mark as well.
Okay, the giants are performing.
They are. But you also have to look in India. It's a rapidly urbanizing place, and its electric single-oven market is expanding fast. The CAGR there is predicted to be over 6.3%. That's a really clear sign of modern kitchens becoming much more common in Indian cities.
So urbanization and a growing middle class driving that demand.
Precisely. And it's not just them. South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, the broader Southeast Asia region, they're all showing really strong growth too. Many of them have CAGRs up over 6% as well. It's widespread adoption happening across the continent.
Okay, so APAC is definitely a key region. What about further south, South America?
South America is making some significant contributions. It's projected to reach over $1.7 billion by 2033. The growth is steady, around 5.4% CAGR.
And Brazil's the main player there.
Brazil's a big one, yeah. Its market is expected to roughly double by 2033, hitting around $800 million. But, again, it's not just Brazil. Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, the rest of South America, they're all showing healthy growth too, mostly in the 4.5 to nearly 6% CAGR range.
Okay, and the Middle East.
The Middle East is another region with quite strong growth, projected to nearly double its market size to almost $1.9 billion by 2033. And the CAGR is robust, about 6.3%.
Driven by similar factors, urbanization.
Yeah, you see it in key countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey. There's rising demand for these modern cooking appliances in urban households. It reflects those changing lifestyles, increasing disposable income you often see with urbanization.
Right. Now, we've saved one region for last, and it seems like it has the most dramatic story. Africa.
Absolutely. Africa is, well, it's the fastest growing frontier for electric single ovens, hands down.
Faster than Asia Pacific, faster than the high growth pockets in Europe.
By a significant margin. While it's starting from a smaller base number compared to, say, North America, the rate of growth is explosive. We're talking a CAGR of over 7.6%. That outpaces every other region.
Wow, 7.6% annually. That's huge.
It really is. The market's projected to reach over $2.3 billion by 2033, up from around $850 million in 2021.
So where in Africa is this growth concentrated?
Nigeria and South Africa are really leading the charge. Their markets are both projected to be massive by 2033, Nigeria nearing $950 million, South Africa potentially topping $1.1 billion. These are becoming major hubs for modern kitchen tech.
And the rest of the continent?
The rest of Africa category is also showing significant growth, expected to double its market size by 2033. It just underscores the immense potential across the continent as urbanization picks up speed and more households look for these kinds of modern appliances.
It really makes you think about how central the kitchen is becoming, technologically speaking.
Doesn't it? These aren't just places to cook anymore. They're evolving into these integrated tech centers within the home.
So what does this all mean? we've taken this whirlwind tour, this journey through the global electric single oven market. And the picture is pretty clear. Strong growth everywhere. It's being pushed by these big global forces, more people in cities, the demand for modern looks, energy savings, and definitely those smart connected features.
It's quite something to see how quickly this kind of sophisticated tech is being adopted in homes really all across the world in so many different communities.
Yeah.
And this market growth, it really does highlight a bigger shift, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's not just about ovens. It signals a change in how we're designing our homes, what we value in our living spaces, efficiency, smart integration. It goes beyond just the kitchen.
That's a great point. It makes you think. What stands out to you listening to this? What are the broader ripple effects, maybe, of this intense focus on tech integration and specialized appliances, even beyond the kitchen itself? Have you ever stopped to think about how much our homes are changing? Especially the kitchen. It feels like it's becoming, I don't know, the real command center.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just for cooking anymore, is it? It's about design, tech, how we live.
Exactly. And that brings us to today's deep dive topic, something that seems pretty basic but actually tells a big story. The electric single oven.
Seems simple, right? Just a box that heats things up.
Yeah, but we're finding it's kind of at the heart of this whole kitchen evolution.
Yeah.
So how is this everyday appliance becoming such a symbol of change?
Well, that's really our mission today, isn't it? To dig into the forces shaping this market.
Yeah.
We want to figure out why the electric single oven is sort of redefining kitchen dynamics.
Okay.
So we'll look at what's driving the growth, the plus points, but also the challenges, the things holding it back.
Right.
And maybe the most interesting part, the innovations, the new tech that's making it way more than just the heating box.
And just so you know, this whole conversation, this deep dive, it's all based on the sources you provided. We're pulling up the key insights for you.
Getting right to the important stuff.
So let's jump in. Where do we start with why these ovens are, well, taking off?
I think the first big thing is just demand. Demand for modern kitchen appliances.
Okay.
Think about urbanization, how lifestyles are changing. People want kitchens that look good and work really well, style and substance.
And electric single ovens fit that.
Perfectly. They're sleek, usually pretty compact, very efficient, ideal for, say, city apartments or a smaller household.
Right, less space.
Exactly. And our sources really stress how they fit into that minimalist, clutter-free look people seem to want. Built-in, clean lines.
And you can almost disappear into the cabinetry sometimes.
They really can. It makes the whole space feel more adaptable.
Okay, so aesthetics and space are key. What else?
Well, tied into that efficiency point is a really big driver, saving energy.
The energy efficiency angle. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's huge now. These electric ovens, especially the newer ones, they offer much better temperature precision compared to a lot of older gas models. Much more control.
How does that save energy, though?
Good question. It's about things like advanced heating elements, better convection systems, fans moving the hot air around. Our sources mention stuff like multi-point heating.
Okay.
Which basically means faster preheating, sometimes like 30% faster, and really even baking. Less wasted heat, less cooking time needed.
So lower energy bills and, I guess, better results.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And with energy costs going up and, everyone thinking more about sustainability,
Right.
these energy-saving features aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. People expect them.
Okay, that makes total sense. Efficiency is huge. What's the third big push?
Home renovations, and specifically the trend towards modular kitchens.
Yeah, you see that everywhere, people redoing their kitchens.
Exactly. Homeowners are investing a lot in upgrading their spaces, and that means a big surge in demand for appliances that look built-in, that are designed forward.
And modular kitchens, just to clarify for listeners, that's like pre-made kitchen units you fit together.
Pretty much. Customizable blocks, cabinets, drawers. And appliances like electric single ovens integrate perfectly. They slot right in, keeping those clean, modern lines.
Seamless integration.
That's the term, yeah. And it feeds right back into that aesthetic appeal we talked about.
And I suppose the smart home connection adds to that appeal, too.
Definitely. Especially for people who are, into tech and design. The fact that these ovens can potentially talk to your fridge, or you can control them from your phone.
We'll get more into the smart stuff later, I bet.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
It definitely boosts the overall appeal. It makes the kitchen feel more connected, more cohesive.
Okay, so strong growth drivers. But it can't all be smooth sailing. What are the roadblocks, the restraints?
Right. Every market has its challenges. And the first one for electric single ovens is pretty straightforward. Cost.
The price tag.
Yep. Especially for the higher-end models, the smart ones, the fully integrated ones. They generally cost more upfront than a standard gas oven or, a simple countertop oven.
And that initial cost can put people off.
It absolutely can. If you're on a tight budget or maybe in a market where incomes are lower, that higher price is a real hurdle. Cheaper options are available, so it makes people think twice.
Even if it saves energy later, that first cost is tough.
Exactly. Though some companies are trying things like tiered pricing, making some smart features a bit more accessible. We'll see how that plays out.
Okay, cost is one thing. What else? You mentioned earlier they're often single ovens. Does that cause issues?
It can. That's the second restraint. Limited multitasking. One oven compartment means you can only cook so many things at once.
Right. I remember trying to cook Thanksgiving dinner in one. It was like playing Tetris with roasting pans.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. For everyday meals, it's usually fine. Plenty of space.
But for big gatherings,
For larger families or people who entertain a lot, especially holidays, yeah, it can be a real limitation. You end up having to plan cooking times really carefully, or maybe needing a second microwave or countertop oven anyway.
so not ideal for high-volume cooking situations.
Generally not, no. Sufficient for daily use, but a potential drawback otherwise.
Okay. And what about relying on electricity? Is that a
But
problem?
that's the third main issue. Power dependency. These ovens need a stable electricity supply, period.
Which isn't always a given, right?
Not everywhere, no. Think about areas with unreliable power grids. You get blackouts, voltage drops, brownouts.
Mhm.
If the power's out or unstable, your fancy electric oven is just a box. It severely affects usability.
So in some places, gas is just more reliable.
Definitely, particularly in rural areas or places off the main grid. If your electricity supply isn't rock solid, a gas oven might just be the more practical choice. It highlights how much smart home tech relies on good old-fashioned infrastructure.
That's a really important point. Infrastructure matters.
It really does.
Okay, so we have cost, multitasking limits, and power issues as hurdles. But despite that, there's clearly a lot of innovation happening. Let's shift to the exciting stuff, the trends reshaping things.
Yeah, this is where it's really interesting. And the biggest trend, no surprise, is smart home integration.
Okay, tell me more. How smart are we talking?
Well, they're really moving beyond just being heating boxes. They're becoming like intelligent assistants in the kitchen.
So, Wi-Fi, apps.
Yep. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connectivity, you can often control them remotely using a mobile app. Preheat the oven on your commute home.
Wow, okay.
Get notifications on your phone when dinner's ready. Some even have voice control through Alexa or Google Assistant.
Alexa, bake the cookies.
Sort of, yeah. Or accessing guided cooking programs. The oven walks you through recipes, adjusts settings automatically. It's about making cooking easier, more convenient, more intuitive.
That does sound pretty cool. Convenience is king.
Uh,
What else is trending?
Compact, multifunctional designs, doing more in less space.
Back to the space-saving idea, but adding more features.
Exactly. Manufacturers are packing more functions into these single oven units, so it's not just baking anymore.
Like what?
Well, convection cooking is pretty standard now. That's the fan circulating heat. Makes things cook faster and more evenly.
Right, I've heard of that.
But now you're seeing things like built-in grilling modes, steaming functions, even dedicated air frying settings.
Air frying in the main oven. That saves counter space.
Precisely. That's the whole point. Fewer separate appliances cluttering up the kitchen. People want versatility. One machine that does a lot.
It feels like a broader trend, doesn't it? Appliances becoming Swiss Army knives.
It really is. Space efficiency meeting, almost professional level performance, all in one box. It's what modern homeowners seem to want.
Okay, smart tech, multifunctionality.
Hmm.
What about sustainability? We touched on energy efficiency, but is it broader than that?
Oh, definitely. Sustainability is a major influence on innovation now. It's not just energy use.
Oh.
Companies are increasingly using eco-friendly materials in construction. Recyclable metals, better insulation materials that are less harmful to produce or dispose of.
So the build materials themselves are greener.
That's part of it. And also those energy efficiency labels, Energy Star, things like that, and just general compliance with environmental standards. They're becoming really important factors when people choose an oven.
So consumers are actively looking for that.
Absolutely. It's like people are voting with their wallets.
Yeah.
They're choosing products that match their values, that help them reduce their environmental footprint, and hopefully save them money on bills long term, too.
Okay, that's a powerful combination. Values and savings.
It really is driving change.
So with all this going on, the growth, the challenges, the innovation, who are the main companies pushing this market forward? Who's leading the charge?
Well, our sources point to a mix of established players and some, tech-focused brands. Names like GE Appliances, Frigidaire, Whirlpool,
Big household names.
right? Also Premier, Hotpoint, Samsung. They're big in appliances generally. Then you have Amana, Summit Appliance, Maytag, LG Electronics, KitchenAid. It's a competitive field.
And what makes them the key players? Just selling lots of ovens.
It's more than that. They're the ones really investing in the innovation we've been talking about. They're not just making ovens, they're trying to build smarter, greener, more connected kitchen experiences.
Okay.
It's their R&D, their product development, sometimes strategic partnerships, even mergers and acquisitions, buying smaller tech companies to get new features.
Buying innovation.
Sometimes, yeah. All that activity is really defining where this market is heading, pushing things like AI in cooking, or making the oven integrate seamlessly with the rest of the smart home.
Fascinating. So when we wrap all this up, what's the big picture? What have we learned from this deep dive?
Look, I think the main takeaway is that the electric single oven isn't just a utility anymore. It's become much more symbolic
Symbolic of what?
of modern living, really. It represents efficiency, that sleek, modern style, and this increasing intelligence we're building into our homes.
Yeah, it's a reflection of how we want to live now. Functional spaces, yes, but also smart, connected, maybe even a bit elegant.
Exactly. Efficient, elegant, intelligent. That sums it up pretty well.
So here's something to think about as we finish up. Look around your own home. What other everyday objects, things you barely notice, might be undergoing a similar kind of quiet revolution?
Good question.
Transforming from just simple tools into, I don't know, intelligent companions that subtly change how we live, how we interact with our environment. What does all this gradual transformation really mean for the future of our homes?